Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is actually a continuation of the dissection series which we started with the pectoral region. So this is part 2 for the pectoral region, and we stopped at the infraclavicular fossa. So infraclavicular fossa, once again, if you mark a point on the clavicle at the junction of lateral 1/3 and middle 1/3, just below that point you get the infraclavicular fossa. So when you get the infraclavicular fossa, there is one muscle lying medial to it and one muscle lying lateral to it. So medial to it you have the pectoralis major, and lateral to it you have the deltoid muscle, and deeper to the deltoid muscle laterally you get the coracoid process. These three important landmarks you should know. Now coming to the cutaneous nerve supply of the pectoral region. We know every part of the body, the cutaneous, the skin will be supplied by the cutaneous nerves and vessels. So in this region again you have mainly two sets of cutaneous nerves. One is supraclavicular nerves and the other one is the anterior and lateral cutaneous branches of in the intercostal nerves. Which are the intercostal nerves? From 2nd to 11th intercostal nerves. So these are the two sets of cutaneous nerves supplying the pectoral region. That point you have to remember. Now when we talk about the intercostal nerves, there is one important point which you should know, that is known as the intercostobrachial nerve. When you say the intercostobrachial nerve, from the term itself we know it is a nerve which connects the intercostal nerve with the nerve of the arm. Brachial means arm. So intercostobrachial nerve means the nerve which connects the intercostal nerve with the arm. So which is the intercostal nerve which is connected to the arm? The intercostal nerve is actually the lateral cutaneous branch of the second intercostal nerve. Okay, so the second intercostal nerve, the lateral cutaneous branch is undivided and it goes through the intercostobrachial nerve, and it will be communicating with the medial cutaneous nerve of arm. So these are the two nerves. The lateral cutaneous branch of the second intercostal nerve, it will be communicating with the medial cutaneous branch of the arm. That is the intercostobrachial nerve. And of course, in the Cunningham, one more communication is said, that is the lateral cutaneous branch of the third intercostal nerve as well. That is also having a communication with the intercostobrachial nerve. You have to remember that point. And what is the purpose of this nerve? All these three nerves actually supply the skin over the medial aspect of the arm as well as the floor of the axilla. The clinical aspect of knowing the importance of the intercostobrachial nerve comes in malignancy of the breast. We will be discussing about the details in later. For the time being, you remember the importance of the intercostobrachial nerve. Now coming to the mammary gland of breast, we know as we reflect the skin, you will be seeing the superficial fascia, and it is in the superficial fascia you have the mammary gland. And in males and females, we know it is rudimentary in males and it is more developed in females. And once you remove this mammary gland, especially in females where you get it more developed, which is there in the superficial fascia, you will be seeing the deep fascia, which is covering the muscles of the pectoral region. So in the first plane you get two muscles. One is the deltoid muscle and the other one is pectoralis major. So as soon as you reflect the skin, the superficial fascia, you have the mammary gland, which is more developed in females, not that developed in males. Once you remove that, you get this deep fascia, which is covering the pectoralis major muscle and deltoid muscle. And once you cut off the pectoralis major muscle and reflect it, below the pectoralis major, you have the pectoralis minor and the subclavius, and we have the clavipectoral fascia extending over it. That also we have to remember. So in this region, you have to know the origin and insertion of pectoralis major, deltoid, pectoralis minor. These are the very important muscles which you get in this region. For spotting exam, for the practicals, a pin will be kept over these muscles and you will be asked to write the origin, insertion, nerve supply, action as the case may be. And the clavipectoral fascia is again a very favorite short note for the exams. You have to draw the diagram and you have to read about the structures piercing the clavipectoral fascia. That is again a very favorite question for the examiners. So that's about the pectoral region in a nutshell. You please go back and read the details from a good textbook so that it will be more clear for you. And about the incisions, when you do the incision in the dissection hall, we have to keep or make mainly 4 incisions. Then the first one is from the jugular notch up to the epigastric fossa. The second one along the clavicle. The third one from the xiphoid process to the axilla. But when you reach the mammary gland, you just encircle the nipple and keep it there. You should not reflect the nipple along with the skin. Why? Because we are keeping the nipple as the landmark, okay, for further dissection. Then the fourth line or fourth incision line will be from the xiphoid process up to the posterior axillary fold. So these are the major 4 incisions which you are keeping. And some of the questions expected from the pectoral region are: you need to identify the pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, deltoid and clavipectoral fascia. The clavipectoral fascia is usually a short note. For identification purpose, you need to identify deltoid, pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. Then there is a groove between the deltoid and the pectoralis major, that is known as deltopectoral groove, where you get the cephalic vein. So these are the very important structures which you will come across in the pectoral region, and read about the clavipectoral fascia in detail and the structures piercing clavipectoral fascia, and all these muscles: origin, insertion, nerve supply and action. And pectoralis minor is actually considered as a key muscle in this region. Why it is considered as a key muscle, we will be discussing in the next session. Thank you. Thanks for watching.